All right, man, it's me. And I waited all weekend. That was tough for me. You know how much I love to talk. I waited all weekend to finally review Black Panther. So I got to imagine everyone who wants to go right away has seen it. So I don't want to hear any of this fucking spoilers shit. If you haven't seen Black Panther, I'm going to give away a fuck ton of spoilers as I talk about this spoiler. Wonderful motion picture. I back in the day, 20 years ago, I first worked with Marvel Comics. We did the Daredevil run of comics, me and Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti, under their Marvel Knights imprimatur, their banner. And one of the titles that was also released, there was a Punisher that was released then as part of the Marvel Knights, but also they did a Black Panther run with Chris Priest. And Chris Priest introduced a lot of concepts in that book that were really cool that came to life in this movie. The Dora Milaje came from Priest's run. So when I went to see the flick, man, I was like, oh, come on. Like, you know, I know Black Panther created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee years ago, but everyone who writes the character in comics adds another spoke to the wheel. And I remember Priest's run specifically. I remember, like, that's a cool idea, man. Like these all-women warriors and stuff like that protect the king. And they played with his monarchy as in America in that storyline. Really cool. So, you know, years ago, man, we never thought we'd see a Daredevil movie, let alone a Black Panther movie. And here we are with a Black Panther movie. Black Panther, big screen debut, I think most people assume rightfully, is in Captain America Civil War. First mention of Wakanda maybe in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Avengers Age of Ultron. But as an old school movie fan going way back, there has been a Black Panther appearance in a major motion picture once before. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. In 1989, Spike Lee, in Do the Right Thing, some of his characters carried around all day long in some of the scenes, issue of Black Panther comic book. And throughout the movie, you would see it. And at one point, there's a line that I love, and me and Jason Mewes have repeated to each other ever since we fell in love with Do the Right Thing in 1989. This is the line. They're trying to, the kids are trying to get some pizza out of Sal, hurry them up at the window. Sal is the guy that runs the pizza place. And they're talking about, no, they're not talking to Sal. This is talking to somebody else. Oh, Bugging Out. Bugging Out is just like, I want you to boycott Sal's. Because Bugging Out's like, Sal, we're going to boycott your fat pasta ass. And so he's trying to get the neighborhood to boycott Sal's. And the kids are like, man, as good as that pizza is, no way. And at one point, one guy holds up the comic book and he goes, Black Panther pizza, we eat pizza, boy. So me and Mewes for years have always been like, Black Panther pizza, we eat pizza. It means like, if it's good enough for the king, it's good enough for us. So technically, Spike Lee, man, he was there early on, finger on the pulse, putting a Marvel comic book in a movie, Black Panther. And, you know, again, that was something we never thought we'd see a Black Panther movie. Here we are. We now live in an age where they're making everything, for heaven's sakes. And thank God they made this movie. Instantly, this movie jumps in to the top 10 of Marvel films in their 10-year of production. It's something really, really special, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Coogler, the director, he did Fruitvale Station, which is a wonderful movie. He did Creed, which is a magic trick of a movie that made me care about the Rocky universe again, man. He rebooted that universe, and he just brought fresh life like crazy to the Marvel universe with Black Panther. Insanely talented filmmaker. So Black Panther, as we all know, just did killer business, rewrote the history books and whatnot. We already talked about it, but of course, as everything in this life, this is sponsored. This is from the good folks. I gotta kill two birds with one stone. I have to go to the airport soon. So this is for the Dollar Shave Club, ladies and gentlemen. If you join their shit shower and shave trial kit, man, it's only like $5 if you go to dollarshaveclub.com/fatman. You get this entire kit of stuff to shave. Look at this. It even comes with ass wipes in there. But what I'm going to do is, before I get going, I'm going to use this moment to shave. Look at this. No, if this weirds you out, don't watch. But I'm not going to use cream or nothing like that. And pray it's not going to bleed. I do this all the time, especially with Dollar Shave products. Look at that fine handle. Sweet. But this would be the one time where I'm like, and I start bleeding on camera. Let's check it out. So far, so good. Now I understand the genius of all those shows where people watch people who might get hurt at something. There's a thrill. I'm sure the audience is like, I hope. Most of them are like, I hope he's okay. But I'm sure some people are like, if he cuts himself, that would be interesting. Here we go. Don't tell me I missed a spot. You fucked me up. There you go. Look at that. I can think of no better ad for the Dollar Shave Club than that. Look at that. Smooth. Well, you know, I missed a spot or two, but whatever, man. For internet shaving, that's pretty damn good. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/fatman, all one word. It's been chasing me my whole life. And jump in right now for the trial kit. It is fantastic. I mean, they include ass wipes, which is amazing. Plus stuff to put on your face as well. The shit shower and shave kit. Okay. Back to the review, man. Here's the thing that affected me. Two things that affected me the most in this movie. And maybe it's because I'm a 47-year-old man. But two moments of fathers with children. I've fathers with sons particularly. I don't have a son. I've never had a son. I got a great daughter and stuff. But I had a dad. And so these scenes profoundly affected me. When T'Challa takes the herb, takes the root, and lays down in the sand, they cover him up. And then he goes to like the spirit plane, or, you know, where everyone is represented as a panther, and he sees his dad, comes down from the tree and talks to him. Really wonderful scene, and what a wonderful notion that we could see our loved ones someplace afterwards. They should market that. So I like that scene, very powerful stuff, particularly because, you know, the character of T'Chaka, his dad, who's played by, I want to get everyone's name right, John Caney, did a wonderful job in Civil War. Although I will say, when they did 1992, T'Chaka, like he looked tight. He looked in great shape and young, I guess is what I'm getting at. And then what, 20, how many years is that? 20, let me see, 20, 90, 20, I don't know, 25 years later or something like that, he aged. Let that be the lesson of Black Panther for you. Nobody stays young forever. But I love that notion of seeing T'Chaka in action as a Black Panther in Oakland. Here's one of the most magical images you'll see in a movie all year. A spaceship over Oakland. Like, nobody thought to do that. What a great idea. It tells an incredible story, and we've got moments in this movie where you have people looking up at spaceships, young African-American kids in their neighborhood going like, I've never seen this before. And it works in the movie, and it works on a whole other different level as well. So there's profound moments like that. Anyway, T'Chaka comes back to visit his brother, and I don't know how to pronounce his brother's name, but he's played by Sterling K. Brown. And he, you know, at first it's a bonding, like the guy who's with T'Chaka's brother, Njobu, I think it is. He was like, looks to the peephole, and he's just like, there's some Grace Jones looking women outside, bald Grace Jones looking women, which made me laugh. And then it's the Dora Milaje. They come in, and then the Black Panther then appears in the room. And suddenly you realize the guy is a citizen of Wakanda. And they have their talk, and then you realize they're brothers, and it goes deeper than that. And then later on in the movie, they continue the scene, you see what happened afterwards. But in that sequence, man, when you see him, Black Panther circa like 1992 and in the 90s, like that like triggered me as I was sitting there going like, wow, so Captain America is the first Avenger, the first masked superhero in the Marvel Universe. I guess next would be Ant-Man and the Wasp, as we saw in their flashback adventures. Now they'll be able to add Captain Marvel and a young Nick Fury in the Captain Marvel movie. But T'Challa, well, the Black Panther, T'Chaka technically, beats most of the other costumed Avengers in the Marvel Universe. He predates the Iron Man. He predates Hawkeye, Black Widow. Like, it's kind of cool. Like, how they were able to be like, he's part of the original universe. Even before these cats were jumping around in suits and fighting. He was a guy who puts on a mask and does the right thing. So, but anyway, so the scene with T'Challa and T'Chaka on the spirit plane. But I really loved the scene with Michael B. Jordan, who is just such an amazing actor. Everyone in this cast is fantastic. But Michael B. Jordan's scene with his dad, when, you know, they're not, don't know if they're in the same room or not, but because he's doing the spirit plane, and one guy's in a room and his dad is like dead. But his father says, "No tears for me," because when, I was just going to choke me up, when T'Challa saw his dad, like, he was emotional. He was like, "Papa," and he's loving him. And then Killmonger sees his dad, and his dad's like, "No tears for me." And Killmonger has like a really kind of like everybody dies, like just straight philosophy that's going to take him to the throne. One of the best Marvel villains they've ever introduced, man. Killmonger, go figure. Because they gave him a really tragic backstory. He's a kid that was left behind, as we find out later in the movie, by King T'Chaka himself. And Forrest Whitaker's character, who is, what is it? I think it's Zuri. But oh my goodness, like, there's intrigue here. There's layers, Shakespearean layers of family betrayal and family secrets and stuff like that. But I found that so heartbreaking when his dad was like, "No tears for me." His dad's looking at his son like the same. We'd seen a version of the scene. That's my hats off to Ryan Coogler, because he set us up with that scene by being like, this is what a true father and son interact like. And then you see the broken dynamic between Killmonger and his dad. And it's so sad. But it gives you like, they gave him such a great backstory in terms of, he's not just one of these cats like, "I'm going to fucking burn the world because I'm crazy or I want things." I mean, he wants the throne and he does want to burn things down. But it's not because he's like, "I'm evil." He looked up, he saw a spaceship, he went to find his dad, and his dad was dead with claws in his chest. And like, his father had taught him about Wakanda and was like, "Someday I want to bring you back there. The sunsets there are beautiful." That's going to make me cry too. Like, that's sad. And then the kid was left behind. So that kid grows up to be this horrible person that's just like, killing means nothing to me. And he's got this amazing, God, this guy's ripped. It's crazy how, you know, you look at another human being, you're like, that's possible? Because look at this shit. Not here. But man, oh man, he's got like a body full, like Mr. Zsasz from DC Comics, like marks everywhere for all the kills he had. I thought that was dope. So he's almost... He's wrong to do what he does and stuff. And his father was wrong too. His father wronged Wakanda. He gave Ulysses Claw coordinates or whatever, so Ulysses Claw could bust in and steal the vibranium shit. So he's not an innocent man by a stretch of the imagination. But like that kid could have been saved. And I think like that's why when you get to the end, spoilers, and T'Challa's like, "This is going to be the first Wakandan outreach center." That's just good writing, man. Like, my hat's off. Like, he saw an error in the system. He's like, Killmonger wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have had that whole adventure if somebody would have just brought that kid back to Wakanda instead of leaving him there, killing his dad and leaving him there and stuff. Those are deep themes, man, that are generally not associated with a comic book movie. Wonderfully told. Chadwick Boseman was great, but we knew he was great. We saw him in Captain America, Captain America 3, Civil War, whatever the fuck. But, and Michael B. Jordan was fantastic, Killmonger. But oh my God, the find of the movie, man, is Letitia Wright. Her Princess Suri was everything. A Disney princess, I will point out, because Disney owns Marvel. And in the comics, she does become Black Panther at one point. I will watch her do anything. My God, she was Charm City. She was wonderful in the movie. All of her scenes, it was great. They made her his Q, his tech genius, if you will, from the James Bond universe. The whole movie, like the whole opening felt like more like a James Bond movie than a comic book movie, like international intrigue, not just like costumed heroics, even though there was some of that as well, and a lot of that. But it found ways, just like most modern Marvel movies do these days, they homage or take flavors of other movies, so it's not just straight up a superhero movie. And this one felt like it like James Bond for the whole opening sequence and whatnot. Letitia Wright's Suri was fantastic. Charm City all throughout. Let's just go through the cast real quick. Lupita Nyong'o as Nakia was wonderful as well. And what a great storyline that was. I thought that was really cool. The whole, like, we're watching all these trailers where Denai Guerrero is like, "Don't freeze," and Chadwick goes, "I never freeze." And then you realize in the movie they're talking about he might freeze on the mission because his ex-girlfriend's going with him. Adorable. God damn it. Marvel knows how to make movies, man. Forrest Whitaker, great as always. Let's see. Daniel Kaluuya, the fellow who was in Get Out. He plays W'Kabi. I like that storyline too. I thought that was really cool because he was all pissed that he's like, my parents got killed when Claw attacked Wakanda, and so I want justice, bring back Claw. Black Panther doesn't bring back Claw after a stunning sequence in Korea. Is that where it was? South Korea? North Korea? South Korea? Where you see, it's in all the trailers with the car that he's on top of that is being virtually driven by Suri, and then Ulysses Claw is like, let's have some fun. Fantastic sequence, but he comes back and he doesn't have the promise, like, I'm going to bring you Claw, dead or alive. And he doesn't bring him back, and so that creates this small hole for Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger to return to Wakanda with his tattoo on his lip and get in, because he does the thing that the Black Panther doesn't do. And, at the beginning, we see that how important the Black Panther is to Wakanda. The backstory of Wakanda is fucking beautifully told, and graphically told as well. And anybody who doesn't know any of the backstory, by the end of the movie, you're big fuck. 5 minutes into the movie, you're like, I'm caught the fuck up. This is excellent storytelling. So when the flick begins, we learn all about vibranium, how it arrived there, and how the tribes split, and how they all live in unity and stuff, and how important the Black Panther is. And so Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther comes home to T'Challa after the adventures, presumably in Civil War, and so he has to be crowned king. And there's a ceremony, beautiful cliffside ceremony and stuff on waterfalls, where anybody could challenge him, and only one person does, and who is fucking dope. Winston Duke, who plays, I think it's Mubarak. In the comics, I think he used to be Manape. He wore the big white suit and stuff, big white gorilla suit. But he comes down and he's like, Jabari, we're going to challenge. And so it sets it up. I do this for a living, and I'm still like blown away when people do very simple shit. Like, they showed us the third act in the first act. They're like, this guy's going to challenge for the throne, and Black Panther's going to win, and we're going to show you, like, he takes the herb and fights as, the Black Panther, and does it without the armor and stuff. And then in the third act, even the third act. Well, yeah, technically, it's the beginning of the third act and also the end of the third act. They have the whole fight sequence again, but this time with Killmonger, so you know the rules. And so, like, at one point when it looks like Killmonger wins, and he wins the kingdom of Wakanda, wins the throne, and he's like, let's take all the vibranium out into the world. That's the other thing. The villain's plan is like, let's share this. I mean, yeah, he wants to enrich himself too, but he's like, let's share this with the world. Why have we kept people down? Like, for years, our people have been oppressed, and you had this vibranium and did nothing with it. So it's not even like, I just want to burn it all down. Like, at the core of it, there's like, yeah, why hasn't this been shared? Blah, blah, blah. So, it's not like you just completely dismiss, although with a name like Killmonger, you better have a textured villain. And they did. They created a very textured villain. So when Killmonger beats him, and you're like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Of course, spoilers, T'Challa's not dead. He's been found by the water by the Jabari, and they're, mending him back to health. He's packed in the snow. And so when he comes back, he still gets to fight, and it's within the rules of that conflict, the challenge, because he did not submit, as we saw the other guy submit. I'm telling you, good writing like that makes me happy. I'm going to get well up, because I'm like, fuck, that's good, man. I won't ever connect dots as well as that. This is so well done. So it's this beautiful movie that is unlike any other Marvel flick that we've seen thus far. It's a fully realized universe. And we've gone to fully realized universes before when we went to Asgard and Thor, but like, we spent a little time there. We spent a majority of our time in Wakanda, and it is wonderful, and you don't want to leave. Angela Bassett's great, and for old fans of comic book movies that never happened, she was the one we all wanted as Storm long before there was an X-Men movie. Wound up being Halle Berry, but like, it was great to see Angela Bassett playing Queen. Andy Serkis has a fucking blast in this movie, man. Like, God bless him. I'm not a big Rings guy, but I appreciate what the dude brought to that franchise and whatnot. I appreciate, the motion capture acting stuff. Planet of the Apes movies are wonderful. Planet of the Apes movies are wonderful. But like, him just acting and having a blast, like, I got a mixtape, man. Like, and working that accent and like hanging outside the car and blowing shit away. And then spoilers, they fucking take him out like early, where like, but it makes sense for the plot. Wonderful stuff. Martin Freeman's fun in it. Denai Guerrero, who we all know from Walking Dead, is fantastic as Okoye. You gotta give me a chance. I don't know some of these names, but as the general of the Dora Milaje. Lots of screen time for her, and man, she earns it. And like that fight sequence, her when she climbs on top of the car and she fucking throws the spear, it's fucking phenomenal. There's some spellbinding action sequences here. I've seen some people online go after the movie like, oh, you can't understand the fighting, it's too close. I understood everything that was going on. It wasn't like a Transformers movie to me where I was like, who's beating up who? Everything was very clear in this movie. I loved it to death, man. I don't want to leave anybody out who I thought was fantastic. I think I hit everybody. But let's talk about like some of the cool-ass sequences. The Korea sequence, of course, which we've seen a lot of in the trailers, is pitch-perfect action and imagination. Such imagination on display. You know, the themes of, he talks to his dad, and his dad's just like, you are a good man. And it's hard for a good man to be a king. You know, that's true for, I guess, yeah, it's tough to lead if you're not, like, it's now that you know the story, when his father says it to him, you're like, wow, really? And then you see the backstory, and you're like, oh, it was tough for him. He killed his own brother. Epic stuff. Let's see, man. I've seen it once. Somebody said, I've seen it 3 times. I'm going off the memory of having seen it once. This won't be as long as the Last Jedi review, because I saw that like 3 times before I finally spoke about it, or maybe at least twice. But this I went to see once, and I saw it on Friday at like 3 in the afternoon. I went with my wife, Jen. And during the movie, man, like I looked over and she was welling up. She was tearing in the flick. And it was because of the portrayal of women in the flick as well. It's in this movie, there is something for everybody, and for a lot of people, some stuff they've never been shown or given before. So, you know, afterwards, I was like, when we were driving home, I was like, could you imagine if you're a young African-American kid, and like you walk into the theater and you see the shot of a young African-American kid looking up at a spaceship and stuff like that. And, you know, I was like, representation finally, and feeling like that's for me. And she was like, you don't even have to be a young African-American boy. She's like, I saw things in that movie that I never saw before that were based on my gender. Like, you know, she pointed out, she's like, the women beat all the important men in the battle, with the exception, of course, of Black Panther and Killmonger going at it and stuff. So, you know, when you read about people talking about what an incredible leap forward this movie is, it is. It's one of the most inclusive, most expensive inclusive movies ever made. And forget everything else, man. Forget like the African-American community celebrates it or women celebrate it. It's just a damn good movie. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you are, what country you're from, or race, creed, or color. A good movie is a fucking good movie. And this is a great fucking movie, man. Well thought out, well plotted. The good news is this. We know there's Wakanda going on in Avengers because we've seen it in the trailer. So we're going to get to go back sooner than we think. Bad news is, when the fuck are they going to make another Black Panther movie? I know nobody wants to, Ryan Coogler don't want to hear that. He's like, I just got finished with this one. But you can't give us a sumptuous meal that good. And then, you know, how do you keep us down on the farm once we've seen Paris? More and more Black Panther movies from this point forward. I want to go there. I want to go to Wakanda over and over again. Wakanda forever, as they yelled at in my screening before the movie began. We were in a theater at the ArcLight, and they introduced the movie. And when the fellow walked away going, enjoy the picture, just people yelling out, Wakanda forever. That's awesome. When you can have a movie-going experience where the whole audience is in on it and they're all excited. That's why it made like a crazy amount of money. This movie's made the most money of any movie in Marvel history, with the exception of the Avengers, I guess, at this point. And it had like the biggest opening of any movie with the exception of The Last Jedi, if I read that correctly. So, good Lord, man. Like, if you haven't seen it, rush out and see it. I can't wait to see it again this week. I might actually go tonight. Maybe bring Jason Mewes with me, man, because I know he's going to love it. And then together we'll sit there and hopefully eat pizza and say, Black Panther eat pizza, we eat pizza. And clink our pizzas and think about Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, and then enjoy Ryan Coogler's The Black Panther. Fuck. I love this movie a lot, man. I said it on a Hollywood Babylon podcast, which we just recorded, me and Ralph Garman, and put up this weekend, also at smodcast.com. It was, God, I forget what I was going to say. But it was a salient point, and I just stoned it out of my head. I don't know. I don't know what it was. what I was going to say. But man, I loved it, clearly. Oh, here it was. I was going to go off Black Panther for a second and just blow Marvel. And I don't do that because, you know, I want a job. Like, those movies, I looked at that movie, never once was I like, I'd like to do that. I don't look at hard movies and go, I want to do that. I look at those movies and go, I want to see that. Long before I was a movie maker, I was just a movie fan. I just liked movies a lot. And when I go see a Marvel movie or a well-made comic book flick, and generally speaking, that's usually a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie, or even Creed, man, when Creed was like, oh shit, this ties into my childhood. That makes me feel young again. At age 47, if you could bring me into the movies and give me an experience where I feel like a child again, where I feel like, and I'm not trying to infantilize myself, but this is escapism. We pay the money to feel good. I want to go in and be taken back to a time when movies, you know, I make movies. So I don't want to go in there and be like, I know how they did that. I know how they did that. I know how they did that. I want to go in and be transported. I want to go to another world. I want to see things that I've never dreamed of. I want to see things I can't do myself and things I can't make myself. So when I like blow these movies, I ain't trying to get no job. I'm just happy. Like they legit make me happy. The way my grandmother loved The Young and the Restless, and that made her happy. These are my stories, these Marvel flicks, this ongoing story they've been telling for 10 years in the movies. It's like a second grab at a happy childhood. I enjoyed a lot of these stories when I was a kid in comic book form and in cartoon form, and now we get to see them on the big screen. So my hat goes off to, of course, everyone who worked on Black Panther, especially Ryan Coogler. You can tell this movie is a vision, one person's vision. I mean, you know, Marvel, of course, does a lot of things by committee and whatnot, but I feel like this movie had more of a voice than most Marvel films, and so I take my hat off, and that's not to put other Marvel films down. Again, I fucking love these movies. But I feel like Kevin Feige was like, go crazy. And that's why I want to take this side beat to just blow up Kevin Feige. For 10 years, this dude's been telling a long story in the Marvel universe, man. And like, I love that story that he's telling. And I love how textures it gets and layered it gets. And he brings in insanely talented filmmakers and says, hey, go tell your story like he did with Black Panther and Ryan Coogler, or the Guardians movies with James Gunn, or Taika Waititi with Thor Ragnarok. Like this all started 10 years ago with Iron Man, and this is a guy who's like, let's do this, maybe we could do this, and saw it early on. We could tell this whole giant story that takes us all the way up to Thanos, and then what will happen? And now we know, like, after Thanos, Marvel Universe is going to be just fine. I mean, the things are going to change. It sounds like heroes are going to die, but we got brand new heroes, man. Like, you know, why? I mean, I know Shuri winds up as Black Panther in the comics, but there is no reason why she couldn't wind up as, I mean, Marc Bernardin were texting after I saw the movie. Marc Bernardin said, I can't even take credit for the idea. He goes, why couldn't she be Iron Man afterwards? I'm like, oh my God, you're right. She's a tech genius and stuff. Is Riri in the comics, the girl's name is, but could be Shuri. It's sky's the limit at this point. So Marvel did it again, man. Fuck. God damn it. Like, be happy you're alive in this time to watch people as good as they are do something like that over and over again. It's wonderful watching people who are excellent at their jobs come together and do an excellent job, and we get to benefit from it, man. We like going to the movies. They're giving us great movies. We're not sitting there going, well, they kind of look like the characters I know. They're literally giving you an epic movie that looks like what you know, smells like what you know, and then is like nothing you've ever seen before. Again, you'll see no more endearing, magical image in a movie theater this year than a little boy in Oakland looking up at a spaceship. Who nobody ever thinks, hey man, what if somebody in Oakland saw a spaceship? Like, even something simple as that is a beautiful idea. So I loved the Black Panther, obviously. I'm going to go see it again. I'm going to take Jason Mewes. Don't forget, Shit Shower and Shave Kit, $5, dollarshave.com/fatman, one word. And that's it, man. If you want to go see me live, I'm doing some shows this weekend. Fat Man Batman Live in Los Angeles at the Scum and Villainy Cantina on Saturday in the afternoon at 4. Hollywood Babylon at the Melrose, the Hollywood Improv on Melrose on Friday night at 10:30. Thanks for hanging out, man. And thank you, Marvel, and thank you, Ryan Coogler, and thank you, the entire cast of the Black Panther. What a fucking delight that was. My wife don't go to the movies with me a lot anymore, man, but she actually wanted to see that. I showed her a clip. She goes, that looks good. And she loved it, loved it. That's high praise. Me, look, I love everything. My wife loved it. That's high praise. She don't go for many superhero movies. This one she went for in a big bad way. So You'll love it. Go see it, man. There it is. Thanks for hanging out. Wakanda forever!